Hello and welcome to Open, the show opening the Bronx and the rest of the world to you. I'm Kibin Alleyne covering for Darren Jaime, and today we'll update you on what's happening in and around our borough and New York City. Coming up, as October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we'll talk about a rally raising awareness of strategies helping thwart breast cancer. After that, we'll discuss an inspiring initiative in the Bronx aiming to combat low literacy rates and transform neglected educational spaces. Then we'll learn about one program providing support for children and adolescents with emotional and behavioral needs. Next, we'll delve into a vibrant initiative celebrating the power of movement and creativity among older adults. Finally, we'll talk about a preparatory course helping young people meet the physical and academic requirements to become Army soldiers. So stay tuned, all this and much more is headed your way because we're now officially open. Hello everyone, I'm Kibin Alleyne and you are now watching Open, a live program bringing the Bronx and New York City straight to you. We also want to welcome our viewers to the Manhattan Neighborhood Network, as Open is being broadcast simultaneously on MNN's channels. You can stay connected to us on all social media platforms at BronxNet TV. Some things have been going on throughout this past week. We'll take you through it with some Bronx updates. We start with community news. Project Pawn aims to empower youth to strategically plan their futures by starting with their end goals and working backward to their current position. Recently, they celebrated the grand opening of their new learning center in Soundview section of the Bronx. Our BronxNet reporter Kyrie Moody has more details.
Project Pawn NYC celebrates the grand opening of their new learning center in the Soundview section of the Bronx by hosting a ribbon-cutting ceremony.
Project Pawn is a mentoring program, and we use chess as a way to help kids make better decisions in life and think through the different possibilities that they may have in the future. This was founded in 2013.
Panama the Prince is an artist, musician, and creative director who actually grew up playing chess as a young boy. For him, this center is full circle.
My dad, he taught me chess as a kid, and that same logic, values, and everything that's applicable to chess, I've applied it to my everyday life personally, as well as in business. And, you know, with this being something that's for the youth, I had to be here and stand behind it.
Bronx Borough President Vanessa L. Gibson joined the celebration to show her support and excitement for these two entrepreneurs.
Having this space here in Soundview will allow them to expand and serve more young people, more scholars, and really make sure that we open our young kids' minds to chess and what chess means.
Co-founder of Project Pawn, Abdul Suleiman Jr., gives us the vision he has for Project Pawn in the next 5 years.
Nationally, globally, you know, we want Project Pawn to be everywhere. We want every kid, we want everyone across the world to know how to play chess, especially in the inner cities. We just feel like it's so important for the Black and brown kids.
Project Pawn is officially open and classes are in session right here at 226 White Plains Road. For more information, go to their website at projectpawngroup.com or visit their Instagram at Project Pawn NYC. Reporting for BronxNet, I'm Kyrie Moody.
Thank you, Kyrie. In other news, Rain Total Care hosted their third job fair this year, intending to fill open positions with community members. Our BronxNet reporter Jonathan Calixto has a story.
With resume in hand, Bronxites are making their way into Rain Older Adult Center here on Boston Road in hopes of landing their next career.
This is actually to open positions available in the organization for the community.
With jobs ranging from home care to management positions, attendees had their resumes screened and some immediately moved on to an interview.
Someone that can apply today could know that tomorrow they're going to have a process job, and we probably get them in within 5 to 7 business days. So it moves very quickly.
With the third job fair this year underway, Director of Human Resources Kristi says it is important to fill the open positions with community members.
Who else knows those struggles, right? Who else knows what we're capable of? For me, I was one that was looking for opportunities for myself. So if I can create them for those members of our community, then that's what I seek to do.
If you were not able to make it in person, Rain Total Care will continue to share postings online and look out for the next job fair happening before the end of the year. Reporting for BronxNet, Jonathan Calixto.
Thank you, Jonathan. That's all for the Bronx updates. We have to take a quick break, but we'll have more open when we return. Welcome back. In honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, local experts, community advocates, and breast cancer survivors are calling for public participation in a special gathering here in our community. This initiative, led by the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, aims to raise awareness about effective strategies to combat breast cancer. Joining us now is breast cancer surgeon Dr. Kristi Funk and breast cancer survivor and founder of SistaFiTT, Dionne Shaw-Bush. Thank you both so much for joining me.
Thanks for having us, Kibin.
Yes, thanks for having us.
Now, Dr. Funk, can you explain the significance of the upcoming Rally for Breast Cancer Awareness Month and what attendees can expect from this event?
Yes. Okay. So what we've launched, we being myself, Dr. Kristi Funk, and the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, is an awareness campaign like none you've ever seen. We call it the Let's Beat Breast Cancer campaign. It's entirely free. And we try to teach everybody the how to and the why to follow a four-pronged approach to beating breast cancer. And the reason is that science has clearly shown that the vast majority of breast cancer cases are not from genetics. It doesn't matter if you've had a family history, and it's not up to fate. It's literally up to you. And the four biggest prongs on the end of your fork fighting breast cancer are to follow a plant-based diet, to exercise regularly, to maintain ideal body weight, and to minimize alcohol. So we've organized over 50 rallies across the United States to help bring communities like yours together to really learn and understand these actionable steps. And all you have to do is go to letsbeatbreastcancer.org and sign up completely free, and for free you'll get an e-starter guide, our fabulous e-cookbook, invitations to other events in addition to the rallies. For example, every single Tuesday in October, I'm hosting a Let's Beat Breast Cancer live on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Zoom. And each week we'll have a different survivor hanging out with me, and we're going to talk about eating plant-based. And the next week, how to move more and exercise. And then we're going to have a fabulous mocktail show. So this is what the event's all about. And specifically in your hometown, so in Bronx, New York, this coming Sunday, October 6th at 9 a.m., we're all going to meet in front of the Tortoise and the Hare restaurant, which is across from the Tortoise and the Hare statue at Van Cortlandt Park. So the address, if you don't know, of TNH is 6115 Broadway. And the rally is going to be followed by a 5K awareness walk in partnership with Female Fight Club, whose name I love. Right? And then my favorite part of all, because it involves food, is it will culminate with a plant-based tasting and a networking event sponsored by Hugo's Gourmet Restaurant. So it's going to be so much fun. There's going to be giveaways and raffles and an all-female drum line, Batala. They're going to send us off on the walk after making noise at the rally. So it's going to be a really fun-filled event, and I think you'll walk away empowered and transformed and excited to implement these lifestyle strategies.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, Dionne, as a breast cancer survivor, how did adopting a plant-based diet influence your recovery process, and what benefits did you notice?
Thank you, Kibin, for that question. Look, at 52, I thought I had it all together, right? Personal trainer, teaching health and wellness classes, and I just started my vegan lifestyle. But after an annual mammogram, I got the call. We found breast cancer. And I opted for a double mastectomy, and I realized that my diet wasn't as healthy as I thought. Now at 57, I am stronger, more powerful, resilient, free of cancer, and I am more focused on staying alive by embracing a whole food plant-based lifestyle. And it has been incredible. My weight, my cholesterol, my BMI, my blood pressure, all of it is phenomenal for a 57-year-old. And I contribute that to eating that whole food plant-based lifestyle.
Now, I understand just because life happens, you know, sometimes adopting that lifestyle can be pretty challenging, especially for people who may live in the Bronx. You know, I'm curious to know from both of you, what tips or advice would you give somebody who is looking to make that change?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So first of all, you see what you're looking for, right? So open your eyes around you to the corner store, to where you can find yourself eating more whole foods. So by that, we just mean fruits, vegetables. A lot of shelf-stable products in the form of whole grains are insanely helpful. Like, you just chew and swallow them down, and they are anti-estrogenic, anti-inflammatory, just really anti-cancer inside of you. So whole grains, spaghettis and pasta, lentils, beans, seeds, nuts. If you can find a way to incorporate these foods into almost every meal, you will be combating what we call oxidative stress inside of you. The other thing to think about when it comes to exercise is we don't have to get super sweaty. You don't have to play a ton of pickleball or tennis or, pick up an actual sport, swim, bike, run. You just need to move more, and you can trick yourself into moving more. You can dance with the grandkids. You can park a little farther away from where you're headed. If you work in an office building, why are you going to the bathroom that is right next door? Why don't you take the stairs and go to the first floor and then walk all the way back up to your floor? So little things like that can get incorporated into your life. And I think one of the biggest ways to stay on track is to enlist others. So family, a BFF, get someone else who's equally excited about reducing cancer risk. And what you're going to find out, like Dionne just eloquently said, is you get a whole host of other benefits. You're going to start losing weight, your skin will clear up, you'll have more energy, your focus will be better. Like, all of life's killers, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, Alzheimer's, all of these risks diminish just by making small changes, but every day and consistently.
That's amazing. And, Dionne, I was curious to know, what advice do you have for women who have recently received a breast cancer diagnosis? And, what should they prioritize during this challenging time?
Okay, so the one thing, I'm going to speak from experience. I'm going to tell you what I did. Breathe. That's all I can tell you is breathe. All right, cry if you have to. Pray. And then let's get to work. Go work in conjunction with your doctor get that strong community base, because you're going to need that support team, and adopt that whole food plant-based lifestyle. I cannot express that anymore. Do your research on what foods that appeal to you and stick with it. Keep it simple. What I mean by keeping it simple, I make what I call this black bean chili, right? It's a one pot dish because I really don't like to cook with a whole lot of ingredients, but if it's a one pot dish, put the beans in there with your onions, your tomatoes, put some salsa, and then you can meal prep it. Put it on some some brown rice, put it on a sweet potato, or eat it like it is. The main thing I say to you, sister, if you have been recently diagnosed, don't stress. Try not to. Cry if you have to. Get that support system and work in conjunction with your doctor and adopt that whole food plant-based lifestyle. It is working for me. I know it'll work for you.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, doctor, for those seeking more information on breast cancer prevention and nutrition, where can they go to find reliable resources for support?
So again, letsbeatbreastcancer.org, entirely free. Sign up, and as part of the e-starter guide, our book has a ton of resources. I love the 21-day vegan kickstart app. Again, totally free. You can download it. It has breakfast, lunch, and dinner recipes, how to make it, shopping lists. So that can really jumpstart your mind, even if you don't follow it to the letter. You're like, oh, I never thought about making a burrito and putting this and that and tofu or whatever in it instead of, ground beef. And if you go to the main website, we do have a lot of partner organizations. So we're going to give you the resources you need to stay in touch with others and to keep yourself in touch with these main goals.
All right. Well, I want to thank you both so much for joining us and having this very important discussion.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
For more information, you can visit their website at pcrm.org/Let's Beat Breast Cancer/rallies. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Open right after this.
19.7% of Bronxites currently experience food insecurity. Meanwhile, instead of these nice, colorful foods, this is the best food that they have access to. If this sounds like you, there are a bunch of resources to get healthy food for free or cheap. If you want to help, you might consider donating or volunteering in one of these places. Community fridges like this one are all over the city and allow New Yorkers to conveniently donate extra food to people who might need it. Go to this link and find your nearest one. Food banks and pop-up events like these provide millions of healthy meals to families in need. These organizations are distributing meals to Bronxites as we speak and are always accepting donations and volunteers.
What's up, creative family? Discover your voice with BronxNet community media classes. Are you ready to bring your ideas to life? At BronxNet, we offer television production classes for community members ages 18 and over, empowering you to share your vision with the world. Get certified in field production, in-studio production, and our new exciting addition, podcast production. Once certified, you can create your own show to air on one of our 6 TV channels. It all starts with our free Unleash Your Ideas Masterclass, designed to help you plan your show idea and set you up for success on your production journey. This class is offered at the beginning of each month for your convenience. Our dedicated BronxNet team is here to support, encourage, and uplift you every step of the way. Join us and become a part of the creative force that engages and inspires the Bronx community and beyond. Sign up today and start your media journey with BronxNet. Visit BronxNet.org/education to learn more and register. Let's create something amazing together.
Welcome back. START Lighthouse is committed to revitalizing underutilized library spaces, transforming them into vibrant learning environments, inspiring a love for reading among students. The organization has just announced the opening of its 3rd literacy hub, which will serve 600 students and their families, building on the success of its 2 previous hubs established in local Title I schools. Joining us now are START Lighthouse's Director of Programming, Deborah Rose. Deborah, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here with you.
Now, can you tell me a little bit more about the mission of START Lighthouse and how it addresses literacy challenges in the Bronx?
Sure. So we are really focused on the joy of reading. So many of our students struggle with reading and learning to read, and so we really want to put the joy back in reading so that students really want to pick up a book on their own and learn from their own experiences reading fiction, nonfiction, fantasy, anything that they're interested in.
Now, how does this differ from traditional literacy programs, and what inspired the idea of having a literacy hub?
So Rena Madani, who's our executive director, founded Start Lighthouse during the pandemic when she was teaching and all of the kids went on Zoom and were looking for resources. She partnered with Danielle Keene, who's the principal of PS5, to just find resources and distribute materials for students. During that process, she realized that there were totally defunct library spaces within Title I schools and set about on this mission to try to revitalize these spaces to make them come alive for the students in the schools.
Now, what specific programs and activities can students and their families expect to find at the new Literacy Hub?
So much like our other two literacy hubs, we run programming every day, all day. We have a site coordinator who works with classes all day during the day and during after-school programming. Our lessons are really skill-based, where we're trying to get the kids to improve their reading comprehension skills, but we do it in a way that feels relaxed, comfortable for the kids. The pressure is taken off because the books are read to them, and then there are great discussions using these culturally relevant books that really feel like they're relatable to the students.
And I definitely want to expand on the idea of it being culturally relevant. Could you elaborate on the role of BIPOC authors in your programming and the significance of providing students, with that opportunity to kind of see themselves in their books?
Absolutely. That's really part of our mission, to make sure that the books are relatable to the kids and that they see themselves in the books. So our libraries are filled with culturally relevant books. They're all curated by us. And we find that the kids can see themselves in the books and then want to explore the books even more.
And I understand that they're also signed, which I think is pretty cool. What impact does that have on the kid to know that somebody actually, took the time to sign the book that they're reading?
Yeah, not only are they signed, we often have authors and illustrators in our spaces to read to the students their books, and to be able to then sign the books that the kids go home with. And I should also note that several times a year, our students do book shopping within our hubs. So our hubs transform into bookshops, and the kids take home 4 books to add to their home libraries. And that really makes a difference so that they feel ownership over the books and can revisit them whenever they want.
And I definitely want to add that I think that's so amazing, because here in the Bronx, we don't have that many areas where we can go shopping for books. And just the idea of like a place to read and having a book is unfortunately dwindling. It's nice to see that there are programs out there that are trying to kind of create that space for kids. So I think that's amazing. Now, what challenges did Start Lighthouse face when revitalizing library spaces in schools, and how were these challenges overcome?
So, of course, fundraising. We are really looking for a variety of revenue streams. We have funders from companies to other organizations, and we also rely on state and federal funding. One of our hubs at PS 214 was funded with federal funding that was secured for us by Congresswoman Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, and this new hub also, we were helped by state funding that was secured by Assemblymember Amanda Septimo.
Now, I definitely want to talk about the idea of revitalizing a library in a school, because when I think about my own experience, I remember oh yeah, in my high school, the library was never in use. Why do you think as a society we have kind of maybe kind of left school libraries in the shadows.
Yeah, I mean, it's really sad to see these spaces that are, have become storage closets, basically. I think, the use of screens has been part of the issue, and there's really nothing like having a book in your hands. And that's really what we want to get the kids to understand and to be able to appreciate. So in our spaces, screen time is very limited. We have books in the children's hands while they're in the space that they then can shop later. And also the fact that they're engaging with the books that they choose is really important as well.
Now, what feedback have you received from students and parents about the literacy hubs?
So, I mean, the kids' faces when they come into the space are just awe. They really feel, to quote them, calm, comfortable, cozy. Those are some of the words they use to describe the space. And they come to see it as a place that they can relax and enjoy part of their day. And parents also are really excited by the fact that their children have this in their own schools. And we also run programming for parents on how to read a book to your child at home, how to make that part of your home routine. So they appreciate that as well.
Now, how do you envision the future of literacy education in the Bronx, particularly with initiatives like Start Lighthouse leading the way?
So we work also with New York City Public Schools. There's a big push. New York City Reads is on everyone's minds right now. And we're working to try to expand our programming and also just the mission of having kids enjoy reading and making that a possibility for more children across the 5 boroughs.
Now, what can people do if they're watching and they maybe want to donate books or, help in any way?
So the best thing to do is to visit our website, startlighthouse.org, where you can donate. We don't take used books. However, there are lots of ways to get involved. Come volunteer with us. We love to have people in the space to work with the students. And of course, donations are always appreciated.
Well, Deborah, I want to thank you so much for joining us. This, this kind of holds a special place for me because I grew up reading and I grew up in a library, so I think this is amazing work. So once again, I just want to thank you so much for the work that you're doing and for sharing that with us here on BronxNet.
Thank you so much for having me.
For more information, you can visit the website at startlighthouse.org. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Open right after this.
Hey, creative family. My name is Timothy Coleman, and I'm the Director of Education here at BronxNet. And I'm standing in BronxNet's Media and Technology Studios in the South Bronx because I want to let you know about an amazing program that we're bringing back that highlights the creativity of community members just like you. Emerging Media Makers is a show that introduces you to BronxNet's certified producers. They've taken a step in their creative journey by enrolling in BronxNet's media training classes. On this show, you'll get to see the many ways that our certified producers have created a space that's all their own. Emerging Media Makers, your passion lives here.
Welcome back. With the school year well underway here in the Bronx, many families are already struggling to balance work, home, and school. This can take a toll on mental health, especially for children. One local program, Promise Zone, is working to turn the tide and help children and families get the mental health support they need to stay healthy inside and out. Here now is VNS Health's Behavioral Health Supervisor, Keshia Lewis. Keshia, thank you so much for joining me.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Now, can you give us a little bit of an overview about Promise Zone and how it supports children and families in the Bronx?
Okay, so Promise Zone is a program that's near and dear to my heart. We currently are in 9 schools in the Bronx that covers 3 school districts, which are districts 8, 11, and 12. So the whole purpose of our program is to provide support in the schools, working on crisis behaviors, providing social emotional supports for the students and families that we service.
Now, what motivated the creation of the Promise Zone, and how has its focus evolved over the years?
Okay, so approximately 12 years ago, OMH started the initiative. It's provided all throughout New York State, but VNS Health is the only agency that currently does the work now and has the contracts in the Bronx. The whole purpose of the program was to support schools, kind of like work on improving in attendance, but also limit calls to EMS and having EMS activated for students who are currently in crisis.
Now, can you explain what that means to be currently in crisis?
So sometimes when working with our young people, they could be challenges at home, and we might see certain behaviors where they might be like with a little bit withdrawn. You might see some type of suicidal ideations. They might become like a little aggressive and a little violent, and that might warrant a 911 call. We do understand that having EMS activated can be something that's very traumatic to our young people. So the whole purpose of our program is to be in the school trying to kind of like do the work. Once we start to see the behaviors, kind of work with the young people to kind of de-escalate the behaviors, support teachers and kind of like doing the work to kind of know the warning signs, as well as supporting parents when they realize that their children are having difficulties.
Now, I think this is amazing because I think oftentimes when we are talking about younger people, teenagers and children, we often think of punishment, or if they're acting out, that this is something that needs to be corrected in a different way. And I like that this kind of focuses on just another way to address the situation. You know, with that being said, what specific signs should parents and teachers look out for that might indicate a child needs emotional and psychological support, as opposed to just, thinking that they should be punished or, dealt with in another way?
I think a lot of times listening to how our young people kind of show up, how our youth show up, sometimes they can isolate themselves and kind of not want to talk to people necessarily, like if they're being combative, or people like to use the word defiant. It doesn't necessarily mean that they don't want to listen to you. It can be like other things that are kind of going on, and they necessarily don't have the skill sets to kind of like verbalize their emotions and exactly what they need. Also too, being aware of student situations. A lot of times we have families that can be homeless, they can have housing security, families might not have a lot of needs, they can be migrating from like different cultures, so also kind of like being aware of like all the background and everything that's going on with the students. Just because a student is absent, it might be like other reasons why it's absent. It might be like caregiver can't bring them to school, a family member might be sick, so just kind of like opening up your eyes and really paying attention.
Now, how does Promise Zone provide support not only for children, but also for their parents and families?
Okay, so I think VNS did like a really amazing job. Maybe I'm like a little bit biased. So how we do that for parents is that we have social workers who work with our children, but we also have family advocates that support our parents. A lot of times it's kind of like hard to ask for help. We have families that have been in a variety of systems, right? So they may be like a little bit stigmatized of kind of like asking for help. So our family advocates really do great, amazing work working with our parents. It can be workshops around finding employment, applying for benefits, getting housing, how to manage like your own wellness. They're also kind of like the champion in giving a parent a voice, helping them have their voice, being able to advocate, not only for their children, but also for themselves.
And what advice would you give, to a parent or a family member who may be feeling overwhelmed?
I think it's important to ask for help when you need it, like kind of like use your village. A lot of these schools have some resources, so kind of like tapping into like the resources. I think it's also being aware if you're not good, you can't really show up for your children, how you need them to show up. And our children kind of like really realize as adults kind of like when we're struggling.
Now, I think this is probably the most important part because children are at school, for most of the day. What role do teachers play in identifying students who may need help?
I think teachers are the first line of defense. Because generally kids are in school 8 hours a day, and that's like when you really build the relationship and kind of like the rapport. So I think having those check-ins with your students, I know it's kind of like hard, but incorporating some type of social emotional learning aspect in your daily routine, that's a way to kind of realize where there's some challenge, and then that's how you can know how to seek help.
And how does Promise Zone collaborate with teachers?
So we collaborate with teachers in multiple ways. Sometimes we might do like workshops, helping a teacher kind of like identify how to look from a trauma-informed lens, how to realize a child is in crisis. But also we know that the work that the teachers are doing is very rewarding work, but it can be like very taxing. So my staff as well as myself, we do workshops with our teachers on wellness itself. Because being a teacher and showing up in a classroom, you have to have emotional intelligence as well. And you have to understand like when you're not well emotionally, or you need someone to kind of like step into you. So how to recognize those signs, how to avoid burnout. That's some of the support that we provide teachers. And also providing psychoeducation around things like different mental health diagnoses around autism or ADHD. Sometimes we kind of have to like simplify the work that we're doing, but we might necessarily not have the experience in doing that. So we can have group workshop for teachers, but one thing that my staff is really amazing is doing like individual like check-ins. So whenever teachers are having challenges with students, they're always able to come to us and ask us like questions, and we're able to provide them some feedback and support.
And why, may a program be like that, be essential in a place like the Bronx?
I think in the world that we live in, we have people that come from a variety of backgrounds. It provides work that is individualized to like the schools themselves. Different schools have different cultures. Being kind of like mindful of that when we're looking at the different schools, there's different topics or different needs, and our program is really good at providing those individual supports. Also too, just working together like as a community to try to like tap in and provide the supports that needs. I know a lot of times mental health is like very well stigmatized. It's nothing wrong to talk to someone kind of like when you need help. I always say like I wear glasses. So I use glasses to kind of like help my vision. So it's the same way by having a social worker or a family advocate to kind of like speak to. It kind of helps you get the things that you need better in life and feel the support.
Now, how can community members advocate for the expansion of Promise Zone to more schools across the Bronx and New York City?
So if it was up to me, I would say Promise Zone will be everywhere. So we last received funding 12 years ago, and it's never been an increase in the funding. I feel that you have to speak to your local council people so they could put more money into services like this so we can be across New York City.
Well, Keshia, thank you so much for joining us and having this conversation.
Okay, thank you.
For more information, you can visit the website at vnshealth.org. Don't go anywhere, we'll be back with more Open right after this.
What's up, creative family? Discover your voice with BronxNet community media classes. Are you ready to bring your ideas to life? At BronxNet, we offer television production classes for community members ages 18 and over, empowering you to share your vision with the world. Get certified in field production, in-studio production, and our new exciting addition, podcast production. Once certified, you can create your own show to air on one of our 6 TV channels. It all starts with our free Unleash Your Ideas Masterclass, designed to help you plan your show idea and set you up for success on your production journey. This class is offered at the beginning of each month for your convenience. Our dedicated BronxNet team is here to support, encourage, and uplift you every step of the way. Join us and become a part of the creative force that engages and inspires the Bronx community and beyond. Sign up today and start your media journey with BronxNet. Visit bronxnet.org/education to learn more and register. Let's create something amazing together.
Welcome back. Dances for a Variable Population focuses on enhancing the mental and physical well-being of seniors through dance. With free performances and workshops throughout New York City, DVP fosters social connections and enriches the quality of life for participants of all abilities. Joining us is a member of Dances for a Variable Population, Theodora Gilbert. Theo, thank you so much for joining me.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Now, can you share what inspired you to become involved with DVP?
Oh, well, if you walk into it's DVP, Dance for a Variable Population, but it's the Movement Speaks sessions that they have. And I happened to step into one of the classes. They were going across the dance floor, and it's a part that says across the floor, which means you're going from one side to the other. And I just saw them moving. Naomi Goldberg-Haas, which is the artistic director, the founder since 2009, and this is her theory for us to move in very positive ways. So of course I wanted to do it. I'm into dance and movement and fitness, and that population was older active adults, so I just had to join.
Now, what does strong and creative movement mean to you?
To me, or to the mission of Movement Speaks?
Well,
Dances?
I'd like to hear from you, but then you could also expand on that as well.
Strong and creative. Well, it starts with your mind. You have to make up your mind you're going to move, and that decision to be strong shows in how you move. Creativity, any movement is a dance. Any thought that comes to mind when you flow. So we have a language we have also when we do our dances, and it shows.
Now, can you talk about, how you've seen that impact other people who are a part of the program?
Yes. Oh boy. We have classes we have like 25 classes a week, different parts of the city. So I could see it, we have older active adults, as my mentor Mina said when she was here last year. We have seasoned adults. And you can see when they make a decision to dance, to be together in community, it's just speechless, I'm sorry. But it's beautiful, the way they communicate. And it's without words, so it's motion.
That's amazing. Now, how can dance enhance the mental and physical health of older adults?
Well, it's dance. When we walk, it's a dance. So it enhances because you're moving. You're moving in creative ways, or you're just a daily activity. When you go to pick up something, it's how you pick it up. So you can go fast or slow, called dynamics. Like I said, there's a language. So it enhances, and we also have a part where we have moving minds, part of it also, and we're working on with those workshops, so you connect your mind-body. So if it's not made up in the mind, the body, you can do things aimlessly, and that's still good. That's freedom, but you have to have the connection.
Now, why is it important that we have, something like this here in the Bronx, and how has, it shaped your approach to teaching and performing in the community?
Oh, well, we should have this in the Bronx. We have it in all boroughs, and I have to give a shout out to the Hodson Center. One of the oldest centers in the nation is William Hodson. And there's a couple of blocks away. I have to put in that we are having a performance October the 5th at Yolanda Garcia Park. So that's in the Bronx. So we really need to have this more in the Bronx, because it's a community. It's a friendship. We support each other. The seniors, the older dancers, they support each other. And it's something that they work on, because we do dances, we work on things, we build, and we are always connected.
Now, you talked about the outdoor performance at Yolanda Garcia Park. What can attendees expect?
They can expect not to just sit there and watch. It's a party. It is a party, and they can expect to be outdoors, number one. And it's located, make sure they know to come to Melrose Avenue, East 159th Street. And we're going to start at 3 o'clock, and that's the fun part. We call that the pre-party, because it's a workshop. It's an all-together workshop. All together means we're doing something together and having fun. So they can expect to see great dances. We're doing the dances we have now, then and now. So it's about the great iconic choreographers of the 20th century. I can start dropping names now?
Of course, yeah.
Like, okay, well, I'm going to be biased because it's Alvin Ailey. I'm in that dance workshop with Alfred Goldman, and we're doing Revelations. We have Mina Majors, who was here last year. She's doing her dance with the hip hop. So it's a variation. We also have Audrey Madison, Charles Moore. We have the Martha Graham. So they can experience different forms of dances. And it's going to have, and that's what we do. It's more like an audition, because once they come to the show and they see it and they're inspired, they know that you too can be on the stage next year.
That's amazing.
So yes.
Now, what role does humor and, you know, just this idea, I could already tell from your energy that you know, it's really something that's meant to be fun.
Yes.
You know, what role does that play in, you know, the interactions that you have with older adults in the classes?
Yeah, when we start the session, we have 2 rules. Number 1, you must have fun. You have to have fun. And number 2, you listen to your body. But just leaving whatever the problems are, you can bring the problems, you can share it, but we can get over it together through dance, laughter. Laugh at yourself, laugh. It's part of breathing, and you must breathe. So yes, it's very good to have fun, be happy, and stay connected.
And what advice would you give to somebody who maybe this is their first time doing something like this, or they're a little bit apprehensive just because they may be shy or nervous? What advice would you give to that person?
Just relax. Just relax. Come, the first step they made, they came. That's all they need to do. Just be open and come. Just as we have the performance in the open, that's how you should just be open and receive it. And we guarantee you will not leave the same. You'll be happier.
Now, what are some of the challenges you know, you face when adapting classical dance pieces for older adults, and what are some ways you overcome that?
Well, me personally, I am not the classically trained dancer, but we have the choreographers, and they are beautiful. They listen to the dancers because you have to work together. And the first thing, the dancers are comfortable. They have their trust. And I've seen our great choreographers. They're awesome. They will modify. They will do anything they can, and you would never know that there was an obstacle they had, because it's a communication and it's community. And you will see in some of the photographs, you'll see dancers going from one choreographer to the other. That's how they see that they can all work together. They were apprehensive. I can't hip hop. I can't do Martha Graham. They do everything. They are, you know.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Theo, I want to thank you so much for joining us and kind of sharing a little bit more about your community. I can tell by your energy that it has to be such an amazing thing to be a part of. So thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
For more information, you can visit the website at dvpnyc.org. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Open right after this.
We're going to start the show right now. This is my favorite part. Ready in 5, 4, 3, 2. Hey, this is Angel, and I am one of the instructors for the in-studio production. Here at BronxNet, we offer classes that can help you elevate, expand, and start your television career. All you have to do is sign up at bronxnet.org/education. For the past 7 years, I have been in various productions, spanning from talk shows, independent films, news reports, art displays, teachings, musical performances, and many more. Ain't that right, Angel? Yeah, you're absolutely right, Angel. There are a lot of creative individuals that we're just waiting to sign up for the class. And if I may, can I also express thank you, Angel. That's all the time we have left. Visit bronxnet.org/education and become a producer by taking the course. The class I offer is also in English, en español y también bilingüe. Nos vemos en la próxima clase.
Only 57% of New York City high school students are college ready by their senior year. .5% of high school graduates either have no plans to attend college or are uncertain that they will ever attend. .34% of young adults don't go to college because they can't afford it. Discover what's possible. BronxNet's education programs, internships, and opportunities help engage and inspire Bronx youth and beyond to pursue their passions. Be a part of the BronxNet family. Whether you're interested in our shows, joining a class, or donating to support our mission, visit BronxNet.org to learn more.
Welcome back. The U.S. Army is training soldiers into top shape through the Future Soldier Preparatory Course. Soldier instructors help inspired individuals reach the physical and academic standards to join the Army. Here to share how these same principles can help students back at school this year is U.S. Army soldier First Sergeant Eric Immel. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me on.
Now, can you explain what the Future Soldier Preparatory Course is and its purpose?
Sure. The Future Soldier Prep course is a program that was designed to educate and train future soldiers to overcome their academic and physical barriers to Army service. Within the program, there are two distinct tracks. The fitness program ensures recruits meet the Army's enlistment body fat composition standards, and the academic program is for recruits who need assistance improving their ASVAB scores, which is the standardized placement test that allows for job or skill opportunities when enlisting into the Army.
Now, what inspired the U.S. Army to establish this program, and how has it evolved since its inception in 2022?
So the Army realized that there's a large propensity of people that are willing to serve. There's just a need to kind of help bring those that are willing to serve to the standards of entrance for the Army. So within our educational program, we focus a lot on test-taking skills, as well as improving word knowledge, reading comprehension, arithmetic, reasoning. And then we allow these trainees within the education program to take practice tests that kind of show where their shortfalls are. And then the instructors and drill sergeants can really help fill in those necessary areas for success for the soldiers before they take their next exam. And then in the fitness program, we take a holistic health approach, and we focus really on the physical readiness aspect as well as the nutrition aspect. So we conduct physical readiness training, and prepare these soldiers' bodies and minds for basic combat training, as well as instruct them through classroom portions on, what is proper fueling for your body, how to make lifelong healthy decisions to ensure that you have that foundation of, physical and holistic health lifestyle.
Now, what are some of the key challenges that face today's youth in achieving their goals?
So I think, like I stated previously, one of the big ones that we've seen is just the standardized test-taking skills. And then, on the physical aspect, really teaching these young men and women, what healthy decisions are as far as portion size, which foods are best to fuel your body, and really instructing them on how to exercise to stay healthy, to stay physically ready, and how to do that over the long term and not just crash course dieting and things like that. Like, we really want them to be prepared to live a long, healthy lifestyle in the Army and then post-service.
Now, what has the response been like from participants, in the program, or, what kind of feedback have they given you?
So since the program began, we've had over 26,000 trainees that have graduated the Future Soldier Prep course and continued on into basic training. In our academic portion, we have about a 95% increase in at least one test category when these trainees take their follow-on testing. For the fitness side of it, we have about an 87% graduate within the first 3 weeks and move on to basic combat training. So overall, we have a very high success rate. And, a lot of these trainees, when they move on to basic combat training, the feedback that we receive is this preparation course really gives them a head start into basic training because they understand physical readiness training. They understand, kind of how to march, how to wear your uniform, and they've become leaders when they go on to basic combat training for the trainees that come straight into basic.
Now, what can participants expect before they possibly start the program?
So the first steps are going to be talking to the recruiter, and then those Army recruiters will guide these trainees into if one of these tracks are useful for them, which one could benefit them, or both if necessary. But what they can expect when they come to Fort Jackson here, or a future soldier prep course at another installation, is that it's going to be standards and discipline. We operate very similar to a basic combat training environment. There's physical readiness training, there's marching, there's all of those things that you would expect in basic training. Those are things that we begin to teach here to ensure that these soldiers are prepared when they move on to basic training and then into their unit of assignment.
Now, what advice would you give to parents or guardians who want to support their children, as they go on through this journey?
I would tell them, the Army has a lot to offer, not only, children coming out of high school, but in general for adults that are looking into this program. There are a lot of education benefits associated with being in the Army, continued education for a bachelor's or a master's degree. There are a lot of opportunities, but, military service also offers you, that foundation for success when you leave the Army. It gives you, standards and discipline. It allows you to work well with a team to be a leader or to be led. So it really, it helps build a well-rounded individual once they leave the Army.
Now, what do you hope to see in the future for the, for the program and, and its participants?
I think we have a really good program that we operate here. I would just hope that we can still continue to get the same quality of motivated individuals that come in that really want to buy into the prep course and, continue their journey into becoming an Army soldier, and still understand that, when you come into the preparatory course, that's what it is. We're doing the educational and the physical fitness side of it, but we're preparing you, to go into basic combat training and to become an Army soldier.
Now, how can interested individuals or potential recruits learn more about the preparatory course?
So if they're looking for more information about life in the Army, or potentially, joining the Army to be all you can be, they can visit goarmy.com.
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for sharing that information.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
For more information, you can visit their website at goarmy.com. We've come to the end of our show today. I'd like to thank all of our guests for joining us and you, the viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any part of today's show, you can catch the recable cast on Optimum Channel 67, Verizon Fios Channel 2133, or watch anytime on the web at BronxNet.org. You can catch a brand new episode of Open with Rena Valentine on Friday. This wraps up this episode for us. I'm Alleyne. Make sure to keep this channel wide open. Take care.